Welcome and thank you for being here. My name is Alex Johnson. You are listening to, I guess, the Alex Johnson podcast, but if you have not noticed, every time I have a guest on, I will give it a number for the episode. But sometimes I'll have an idea, I'll have a topic that I want to talk about, and I want to make a quick video on it to share with you guys in a shorter form. So that's what this will be today. And before I move on with anything, I just have to say it. Please, if you're not subscribed to this channel, do that. Please engage with the content. Give it a like, comment, whatever you think. Whether you think it sucks, maybe you think I look funny, or maybe you got some value out of it. You had a new idea, you had a new thought. Let me know in the comments, okay? And I don't like when people say that. It's always like, yeah, whatever, get on with the video. But as a small channel, it really does help, and I appreciate you guys if you could do that. That's the only thing I'll ask. Now, with that being said, I'll move on to what I had teed up for you guys today. And I think this is a good one, okay? Some of this is original. I came up with it. I feel very strongly about it. Some of it I've heard from other speakers. So just kind of putting it out there, okay? I don't own these ideas, but it sure does help. And it helps me, and it's going to help you in this new year. So I wanted to talk about expectations. Before I do that, let me tell a story that happened last week. Short story. My wife and I went on a hike, a very difficult hike here in Arizona. Very steep climb and really rocky. You got to hold on to chains and everything. It's a hard hike, and they say that in the little pamphlet. If you go visit this park, they say, okay, this is a difficult hike. It's going to take X amount of hours, whatever. So we did it with this group, and there was this lady that was with us, and she was hanging out in the back where, we get to the very top, and we go, how was it? And she said, you know what? It wasn't too bad. I just expected it to be a lot worse than it was. And I knew going into it that it was going to be difficult. So when it actually did get hard, she wasn't surprised. And she got to the top and was in a good attitude about it. And we thought, well, that's awesome. I thought to myself, there it is right there. That's the power of expectations. So with that being said, I want you to think about a time in your life where you were let down, or someone didn't meet your expectations, or some event did not meet your expectations. And that's fine. We all have that. And while you're thinking of this, maybe you think of a time, a person let you down. And then think to yourself, well, how did they let you down? And chances are it's because they did not live up to some expectations that you had of them. And that's okay. It just happens, and we're let down by people. If they say that they're going to show up at one time and they don't, they made a promise to deliver on something, it doesn't happen. It happens, life happens. And it's okay to be upset with people or to lose their trust or whatever it is that happens. But you thought it was going to go one way and it went another way. And the result is you were probably upset. Now, what does this have to do with the upcoming year and how this can help you? Well, maybe changing your expectations will prevent you from being upset when things don't go your way. I know we've all seen the toddler, we've all seen the little kid or whatever that expects everything to go exactly their way, and it doesn't happen. So what do? They start crying and they start throwing a temper tantrum or whatever it might be. Sounds silly, right? But doesn't that happen to us? Doesn't that happen to, maybe think of the person in your life that complains about everything? Don't they expect it to go one way and it does not happen their way? And then they're upset. Maybe their day's ruined, or they can't make any progress in that moment because their expectations were ruined or were not met. So have realistic expectations for yourself this year. Now, let me, this is speaking in general terms, but let me put this into the example of having New Year's resolutions, having goals, which we all should do no matter what it is. A lot of my audience is the younger, male generation, younger audience. So let's say fitness is a goal for this year, or your goal for this year, increasing your health, right? So if I had this goal and I just said, okay, I'm feeling very ambitious and I want to be the strongest person in the world, the most fit person in the world. One, that's not a good smart goal, but for this analogy, a couple months in, I'm probably going to be very distraught and get caught off course because I realize, wait, that's not a good expectation to have for myself. I need to change my expectation and choose something that's realistic, and then know that it's going to be very hard and probably take longer than I expect getting there. So notice what I said in that part, because if you have a goal to get in better shape this year and you want to be in the best shape ever, you want to get stronger, you want to have more muscle mass or have some abs, you need to know that if you haven't done it before, then it's going to be harder than probably, anything that you've done before physically. So if I have this goal, I say, okay, this year I want 6-pack abs. And I'll say, okay, it seems easy, so let me just eat an apple every day. Maybe that'll get me there. And obviously, that's just a very unrealistic expectation. The expectation that you should have in that scenario is, if I've never had 6-pack abs before, I need to expect it to be harder than anything I've probably done before when it comes to physicality. I'll probably have to eat a lot different than I've ever have before, train harder than I have before. And that's the expectation, so that when you're actively earning that goal, when you're achieving that, you're not going to be let down. You're not going to deviate from your goal because you already know it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to do. So have that expectation of yourself going into this new year. Have that expectation that your goals will probably be hard, and that's good. That's why they are big goals that you're setting for yourself, because it's going to be harder than maybe anything you've ever done before. That's why it's a New Year's resolution, or that's why it's something that is desirable in the first place. You do have to pay that price. So have the expectation that it's probably going to be harder and take longer, maybe cost more than you originally thought. And that's why having realistic expectations and maybe expecting less than you hoped for, or maybe expecting less than you originally thought, could help you going into this new year with your goals. Okay, let's flip the script on this a little bit and talk about expectations in a different light, okay? Maybe a more positive light, because maybe we talked about expecting less from people, or not being so expectant of things to go the way that we want them to go, and knowing that it might be harder, take longer than we thought. But how about expecting greatness from yourself? And I know that you're all capable of doing this, whoever's watching this right now, expecting more from yourself and then acting accordingly. So what I mean by this is, again, let's use an example that I'm sure all of you might have this year, of a goal to make more money. And so if I had this goal and I said, okay, I want to make 6 figures this year, I want to make $100,000, and let's say I've never done that before, then I should expect that from myself. Again, if it's realistic, if I've never had a job, or if I'm in middle school and I think I'm going to make $100,000, maybe change your goal. But if you know that it's realistic and that you can do that, let's use this goal, and let's say that you expect that from yourself. And now, why would this help you? Because when someone has this opportunity, they say, hey, can you come take this job, and I'll pay you $15 an hour to do that. You can do the math and you can say, I'm not going to take a job for $15 an hour when I want to be making $50 an hour to make 6 figures this year, or whatever it might be. Plug in your goal, plug in, what you expect from yourself this year, what you should be expecting of yourself this year. So expecting more, expecting greatness from yourself of a specific goal will help you to stay on track with that. If you don't have any expectations of yourself, you'd have looked at that job example analogy and said, sure, I'll do that because I don't know what else to expect from myself. So if you set a realistic goal and you know that you can accomplish that, you'll visualize it, you'll expect that of yourself, and then you'll find those opportunities to fulfill that goal and to achieve it. So in that example, you'll find the job that will pay you that amount of money, and you'll find the opportunities that will help you get to where you want to be. And another reason that this is good and healthy to have in your life, expecting more from yourself, is because I'll tell you personally, if I have a goal of making X amount of dollars, whatever it might be in a year, and I lose a $20 bill, I lose it somewhere, I lost track of it, I'm not going to have my day ruined because of that. Why? Because I know what my expectation is, and I think I can make $20 back easy, if that's what my goal is, to make 6 figures. So I'm not going to be worried about that. I'm not going to stress about that. Or if you expect yourself to be in great shape and, I don't know, you slip up and eat a meal you weren't supposed to, I don't know, one day you know that, hey, I expect more from myself and this isn't going to totally get me off track. So I'm not going to let that take away my energy. I'm not going to let that ruin me or get me off course. I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that you can take what I'm saying and apply that to your life, and believe that you can achieve those things that you have written on your board, or the things that you want to do this year. I believe in you. If you feel like no one else believes in you, I do. I know that you can do it. So go after the things that are in your grasp. Go after the things that scare you even, and expect them to happen. So I hope that makes sense to you. And maybe let me make this a little personal too. Let me tell you a couple things about me. When things happen throughout my day, if someone like cuts me off in traffic, or if someone says something negative to me, I mean, I've been told that I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I feel that too. I feel that those things just don't bug me. I'm not going to honk the horn at you and like flip you off and be super annoyed and let that ruin my day, because I just have so many other things on my mind that matter. I have so many other expectations of myself that I'm not going to let you ruin my day if you say something mean about me on social media, or if you cut me off, or whatever happens in traffic. I'm not going to let that ruin my day, because I have other expectations of myself, and it's going to be hard to deviate from that. It's going to be hard to get me distracted, at least I'd hope so, from my other goals and get me off course, because I just have these higher expectations of myself. And now something I'm not as proud of is when I post these videos, when I've posted my first YouTube video and I put these hours into it, editing and, coming up with an idea and all this stuff, I expected it to, I don't know, get like hundreds of views or go viral, was almost like my hope for it. And then when it got like 10 views, I was kind of let down. And I thought maybe this like YouTube thing isn't for me. Maybe this podcasting thing is not for me, because it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, because my expectation was wrong. So I hope that you can take that and apply that to your life, right? Change your expectations. Just think that it's going to be harder than you expect it to be. Just know that it probably will take a lot longer than you think, because social media will show us all this BS of things should happen right away and instant gratification and this and that. But change your expectations. It will really help you in the long run this upcoming year. That will help you stay on track, and then have those high expectations and expect greatness from yourself. Because if you don't expect greatness from yourself, then who else will? And no one else is making the decisions that you are. So please, change your expectations. Make sure that you know how tough that thing might be that has been on your mind. And if you haven't gotten it yet, then maybe change the way that you look at it. Change the things that you do, your habits, because that's the way that you'll actually accomplish it and tackle it this year. So with that being said, thank you guys. I appreciate you. I love you guys. Please, like I said, subscribe and engage with all this and whatnot. So I want to do my part in delivering valuable content to you guys. And if you could do that one thing, just please engage with it and subscribe to the channel. So until next time, thank you.